Hello everyone, thank you so much for your support on social media. I'd like to thank all of those of you who are following me on my Facebook like page and following me on Twitter and Instagram too. And thank you for all of those who have shared the articles on my blog and such. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. I'd also like to thank all of you who are subscribing to my YouTube channel too. I know that I don't really upload videos as often as I probably should, but thank you so much either way for all your support. Now, today's video is about autism and empathy. Now, this is a topic that is often discussed in the autism community. Now, it's no secret that it is frequently said that autistic people lack empathy. This is often said. Professionals will say it, and a variety of other people will say it. Like, it has been said autistic people lack empathy. However, more and more autistic people who are on the autistic spectrum themselves are basically bringing up this topic and saying that actually this is wrong. This is just the experts misunderstanding autism, and actually it's not that we don't lack empathy, it's basically just that we lack the social skills to actually express the empathy, if you know what I'm saying, or we just struggle to understand our own emotions. So we often, even if we are feeling empathy, we may not necessarily be able to properly understand that emotion, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, there are quite a lot of people who have come out and actually said, this is a complete myth. We do have empathy just as strong as neurotypicals, it's just misunderstood. But today I'm going to be talking about my perspective on this. And I'll just try and answer the question from my point of view, because I am autistic myself. And I really feel like I have quite a few things to say on this topic. And I feel like I've got a few things to say that aren't said all that often in other video blogs about empathy on the subject. So I basically would like to bring it up from my perspective. So let's answer the question, do autistic people lack empathy? Or is it just the professionals misunderstanding us? Well, firstly, I think that question I don't feel like it can really be answered with a simple yes or no. I would say it very much depends on the individual. Like, yes, there are clearly those on the autistic spectrum who do experience very strong empathy, but I wouldn't say necessarily all do. I've actually known people who really seem incapable of seeing things past their own perspectives, but I have also met others who do appear to have very strong empathy. I think it's very much down to the person, but speaking just from my own perspective as an individual who is on the autistic spectrum, I would say that I don't have as much empathy as neurologically typical people, if you know what I'm saying, for the most part. I don't have none whatsoever, like I'm not completely incapable of empathy, but I wouldn't say it comes natural to me. It's something that I have had to learn, if you know what I'm saying. I wasn't born naturally instinctively picking it up. It was a skill that I've had to learn, and I still aren't always able to empathise. If someone's in a bad situation that I've never been in my life, I find that I'm not necessarily able to instinctively understand how that person would be feeling, if you know what I'm saying. And just generally seeing things past my own point of view and just instinctively putting myself in other people's shoes, that is a struggle for me. But that doesn't mean that I have none whatsoever. Like I said, if someone is in a bad situation that I have also been in myself, then I am able to empathise. But I likely would, even then, I'd likely struggle to basically apply that to a new situation. You know, if it wasn't exactly the same, if you see where I'm coming from. So I can't really say that I have no difficulty with empathy whatsoever, and I'm just being misunderstood, because I think I genuinely do have some struggles with empathy. But I will say that I don't have none whatsoever, and I do think that lacking empathy altogether in autism, like having none, is extremely rare. I think there will normally be some level of empathy, maybe a different type of empathy, maybe not the typical empathy that you'd see from a neurologically typical person, but I think the empathy is still there, in most cases. You know, autistic people certainly aren't, like, say, psychopaths, where they simply don't care how another person feels at all. Or they just simply are incapable of feeling how another person would feel in a situation. It's more of a, they don't always understand it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, speaking from my own perspective, when I've not been in a bad situation that someone else has been, I really struggle to actually imagine being in situations that I've not been in myself. Like, I even struggle to put myself in my own shoes, figuratively speaking, that is. I struggle to, like, if I have to make a decision, or, like, I'm about to do something, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not, I won't know until I've done it, because I just struggle to imagine being in that position when I've not been in it before, if you know what I'm saying. So, I wouldn't say that I can't really sit here and pretend I have my empathy, I have just as much empathy as neurotypicals, because I don't think I do. But I am actually able, when I do feel empathy, I am actually able to feel it quite strong. Like, when someone talks about, in great detail, about someone being tortured alive, I feel as if it's happening to me. I almost feel like I'm feeling that pain myself. Or if I see a painful thing happen to a character in a film, for example, again, I'll feel as if I'm experiencing it. So in my own way, I can have strong empathy, but I do struggle with cognitive empathy. Like, say, the ability to just instinctively know how another person will feel, or say, like, pick up general body language and facial expressions, and just have an idea of of where the person's feeling sad just by them moving their hands and all that. And I feel like the cognitive empathy in particular is probably the type of empathy that a lot of individuals on the autistic spectrum struggle with. But I do think that empathy is very much an individual thing towards an autistic person. I don't feel like you can say autistic people have strong empathy or they don't have strong empathy and apply it to all. I think it very much depends. I have known some that do say they have much stronger empathy than neurotypicals. Maybe not always understood, but they do experience very, very strong empathy. But I have known others who say they don't really experience a great deal of empathy. I think it all depends. But I will say this, even when I am experiencing empathy, it's not always... I often do struggle to actually express it, if you know what I'm saying. I do still struggle to express it. Even if I know how a person's feeling, I lack the social skills to really do anything about it, if you know what I mean, or say anything. Or actually express that empathy, I'd lack those social skills, if you know what I'm saying. When I see somebody crying, I'll tend to just stand there. Like this. Okay? Yep, he's crying. Right. I don't cry much. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I likely wouldn't start crying myself. I likely wouldn't basically be like, there, it's okay. Or whatever it is people are supposed to say when someone's crying. I think that's what they normally say, if I'm not mistaken. I likely won't really know what to do in that situation. I feel like in a lot of cases it can be misunderstanding, and we also struggle to understand our own emotions too. I think it could be a mix of things. But I will say this, it definitely is a myth that there is no empathy with autism. That's definitely a myth. And I think having no empathy whatsoever, like I said, I think is rare in autism, to tell you the truth. Now, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up to date with future videos. I'm going to try and do more of these now. That's kind of my aim. Try and do vlogs on different topics. If you've actually got a suggested topic, feel free to leave me a comment feel free to leave me a suggestion in the comment box. Do hit that like button. Also, do follow me on social media too. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.